Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing the extended USA forecast for today's second video. So as always on a Wednesday, we're having a look at the weather for the next 6 weeks in the United States. I'll get on that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video release date was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. We're going to have a look at the GWV seasonal model for you very shortly. We'll be going through the autumn months with that, September, October and November. And then we will be live streaming at 6 PM. So we're going to be live at 10 to 14 there at 6. I shall see you then, hopefully. Please like, share, subscribe on all today's videos and content. And thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, we're going to start off with the week 1 500 millibar height and taking us from the 23rd, 28th of August. So this week that we're currently in has a large area of above average height sitting across many central and also northern and southern parts of Europe. We've got low pressure out in the Pacific. Of course, we have the remains of Hurricane Hillary smashing into the west coast of the United States a couple of days ago and bringing copious amounts of rain to California, Nevada, Idaho, etc. And more low pressure is off the eastern seaboard, actually out in the Atlantic. So temperature anomaly looks like that. Now, where we've had Hillary, or the remains of, we see significantly cooler than average temperatures through there, though right on the west coast itself, it's warmer than average. That's due to the sea surface temperature on being quite warm at the moment due to the El Nino. But actually, inland, in western regions, it's significantly cooler than average. Up to the far northwest, it's warmer there, but from the Rockies eastwards, it gets much hotter, especially through these midwestern and southern states. Some places seeing temperature anomalies of 6 to 10 degrees above average. Just the extreme northeastern corner, almost as we're going up towards Canada, we find it turns a little bit cooler once again, but large parts of America are actually looking really hot again this week. And look at the rainfall forecast for week 1. Yes, you can see the effects of Hillary off the west coast to the Rocky Mountains, and again particularly through California and northwards up into Nevada, etc., etc. Out to the extreme northwest, it's a little bit dry through there, and in the far northeast, it's still on the wet side through those regions. Otherwise, from the Rockies to the east coast, large portions of America under that area of high pressure looking very significantly drier than average, particularly dry down on the Gulf Coast there. Again, we see very dry conditions through the Gulf Coast and into Florida once more. Okay, week 2 will be the 28th of August to the 4th of September. So the ridge beginning to back to the west by the look of it, and maybe a trough of low pressure developing in the north. Could that start bringing something a little bit cooler and more unsettled in toward the Midwest and those Great Lake regions. Let's have a look at the temperature anomaly. Definitely cooling down from the Midwest over towards the eastern seaboard, becoming a little bit cooler than average there, particularly in this northeastern corner. Also still living on the cool side out to the west. Very hot still down across the southern states. It's been a really hot summer in the southern states. Texas, for example, have had a very, very hot summer again this year, and we see that continuing even into the start of September. The central northern states as well, back up into Canada, looking again significantly hotter than average. Some places 3 to 6 degrees above normal. And as far as the precipitation anomaly is concerned, so it's still largely on the dry and average side through the Midwest actually and up to the Great Lakes, despite the appearance of that trough of low pressure. Wetter off the east coast and also wetter down towards Florida. Maybe that's the influence of some sort of tropical development perhaps coming in and running up the eastern seaboard. Something like that might be going on there. And out to the west and into the northwest, we see wetter average conditions through there as well. Many of the southern states looking largely on the drier than average side, as you would expect given how hot it is. Week 3 is the 4th to the 11th of September, a ridge of above average heights and high pressure extending up from the southwest to the northeast. So it looks like the high pressure comes back. So temperatures lift back up again after that slight cool down in week 2. We're back to seeing the hot air surging northwards once again back into the Midwest. Again, the core of it is in the south. The core of it is like Oklahoma, Texas, for example, but it looks like it's pushing back up into the some of the Midwestern states there. And to the east of that, many of the eastern parts of America also looking really warm as well. Out to the west, that's where it remains just out a little bit cooler across those western parts of America to the west of the Rocky Mountains. Precipitation largely on the drier than average side through the southern states, so the long, hot, dry summer goes on into early September down across southern states. Not much sign of any activity coming in off the Gulf of Mexico to bring much needed rain to those southern states of America. In the far north, it looks a little bit wetter maybe in the northwest, and not as dry some of these northern states, so it's average to drier than average as opposed to the southern states where it is just significantly drier than normal. Week 4 will be the 11th to the 18th of September. So high pressure above average heights remaining across the southern states, possibly signs that the ridge is weakening a little bit further north, so let's put in a couple of question marks through this white area. The temperature, not only what week are we up to, so we're up to the 11th to the 18th, aren't we? Okay, so the temperature anomaly looks like that. Again, it's largely hot and average across most parts of America, particularly so once more down in those southern states again. And we're losing a signal now for precipitation, but much of the west and also the south looking dry, maybe a little bit on the west side in the northeast. Week 5 will be the 18th, 25th of September. High pressure maybe sinking down towards Mexico by then. Some high pressure though turning up in the far northern portions of America and back into Canada. So largely above average seen across most parts of America. I think we're starting to revert to the default now. Really. Precipitation, that looks a little bit more interesting. So precipitation wise, we've got it wetter into the Gulf Coast now, perhaps into the southeast corner. That might be some sort of tropical development, but then again, as it's 5 weeks away, probably isn't. Drier than average out towards the southwest, maybe a little bit wetter in the north and in the northeast as well. And then lastly, week 6 will be the 25th of September, 2nd of October. A ridge is in the northern and northeastern part of America and back into Canada then. The temperature anomaly just largely above average in most regions, and the precipitation anomaly finally looks like that. So possibly just a little bit wetter in weeks 5 and 6 through some of those midwestern and eastern parts of America. It gets a very weak soon. It's a long way off, so if you're waiting for some rains, I wouldn't put too much credence on that. We go further westwards to Rocky Mountains and back to the Pacific. Perhaps hint of it being a bit drier through there. Okay, so yes, it looks like the long hot summer goes on across those southern parts of America. There is a bit of a cool down further north into next week, but then the heat looks like it surges back up from the south again. Of course, at the moment, very, very cool and wet thanks to Hillary, or the remains of Hillary, across those western parts of America, so much cooler, much wetter than average through there this week, but things will be reverting to a more typical pattern, I think, when we get into next week. Although, given that we've got an El Nino developing, that does bring rains onto the west coast. You know, it's one of the singularities that goes with an El Nino. The western Pacific part of America tends to get heavy rains in an El Nino season, particularly through the autumn and winter. So whilst there probably won't be another hurricane, never say never, probably won't be another hurricane smashing into LA, I would suspect this is probably the start of what could be really quite a wet spell as we go through this autumn or through this fall and on into the winter 2023-24. So, you know, rains are needed for California, but obviously you don't want too much all in one go, such as we've had with Hillary. But I would suspect we probably will be getting some useful rains over the next few months in that western, southwestern parts of the states. All speculation, though. We shall see. If you've enjoyed this video, please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. And we'll have another extended USA forecast for you. Of course we will, next Wednesday. For this one, mate, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.